A mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester. Pretty nice day so far. Nice to see the sun. Beginning to wonder just how much sun we were going to be getting after that weekend, which was fairly damp for some folks and not so damp for others. Kind of interesting, the weather patterns that move through not only on Friday, but also over the weekend, and seeing variable amounts of precipitation. Some spots picking up more than 2 inches of rain. We did have some unofficial reports over in Michigan's thumb of upwards of 3. And over in the east central part of the Lower Peninsula, the northeast central part, Scotia and some of the cities over in that area, they picked up almost 3 inches of rain. Very heavy rains in a short period of time, not much of any wind, and the clouds just moving in, moving out, and that was about it. Some of you picking up maybe 0.2 of an inch altogether over the weekend. So very unusual the way things started. We started off with wet beginning, a 1/4 of an inch, quite common all across the Lower Peninsula. And then as we move through the remainder of the weekend, varying amounts of precipitation in spots, but not everywhere, as we said. But you move a little bit further to the east, not so much here in the United States, but over in Canada, massive flooding in the Toronto, Canada area. The low pressure system decided to virtually stop over Lake Ontario. And then eventually it did begin to move a little bit further to the east, crossing into the New England states. And right now it is in the extreme northeast corner of Maine, moving into Nova Scotia. It's combined now with the remnants of the hurricane. So they're getting quite a bit of precipitation in Nova Scotia, also back into Maine and in the New England states. Quite a bit of rain in and around Rhode Island and Connecticut, as well as some sections of Vermont and New Hampshire. Record-breaking precipitation in that part of the country, as that low is still churning away, but it has lost quite a bit of its depth and quite a bit of its energy. We're looking at a high-pressure system right now over the Dakotas into Minnesota. That high eventually is going to be moving over Lake Superior over the next couple of days. And as a result, we are going to have some cool weather, chillier temperatures, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, plenty of sun. We won't break any nighttime low temperatures, but we will see a few locations drop down into the middle 40s, not so much tonight, but tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. As of right now on the thermometer, Matthew, this hour, what are we looking at?
Currently, over at the airport, it's sunny at 67. Over in Midland, it's sunny at 68. Here at Radio Center, it's partly sunny at 66. We have north winds at 14 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 30.09, and it's rising.
We're looking at 72 degrees by the time the day is all done, with a light north breeze. Mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy skies tonight. We'll drop down to about 53 for a low. Sun will set this evening at 8:33, rise tomorrow morning at 6:47. Now, during the day tomorrow, sunshine a little bit cooler, 69 for a high. Again, that high pressure is going to be to the north of us. So we'll have a north breeze, and it will pick up in intensity. We're looking at gusts to right around 25 miles per hour tomorrow, with that high temperature of 69. 50 for a low tomorrow night. As I said, some will be dropping down into the middle 40s. And then on Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, 74 for a high. The north breeze will still be there, but not nearly as gusty as what we will see on Tuesday. 51 for a low on Wednesday night. Then moving into Thursday, that's when the high pressure system moves off to the east and south of the Lower Peninsula. It'll be centered pretty much over the eastern part of Lake Erie later in the work week. As a result, we'll still have sunshine, but our temperatures will begin to rise. We'll be looking at a high of 78, 79 degrees on Thursday. Then on Friday, we'll hit 80 degrees. And again, we're still looking at partly to mostly sunny skies, moving into the weekend. We're not anticipating any wet weather until maybe the possibility of a shower late Saturday night and early Sunday morning. It looks like that's going to be the first time that we'll have a chance of seeing any precipitation. And throughout that period, the weekend, temperatures running in the mid to upper 80s for both Saturday and Sunday, because that high will be off to the east of it, east of us. And with that clockwise circulation, it'll be drafting some much warmer air and more humid air up into the state. Now, the long range outlook to take us through the end of the month is for our temperatures to average out slightly above normal for this time of the year. The potential for precipitation, though, is really going to be dropping off. Right now, it looks as though it's going to be below normal. Record high in the state is 100, and that was set back in 1955. The record low was 43, set in 1977. Incidentally, the coldest ever 19th of August was 1977. Our high was 67, and our low was 43. A year ago on this day, 77 was our high, 50 was our low. We had no precipitation to talk about, but we still did pick up quite a bit of precipitation in the last week or so of the month of August a year ago. And the month of August finished off with just under 7 inches of rain officially at MBS International Airport. No record. The old record was more than 9 inches. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
But before we get to that, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Rummel Insurance Agency, who understands the risk that you face as a Michigan farm and agribusiness owner. Now, they know that every farm's needs vary like the crops in the field, and they also know that you're more than a number. You have family, goals, and dreams for futures, and how important these things are to you. They do want to get to know you one-on-one so they can help get you the right farm insurance protection for you and your family. Talk to them today, the Rummel Insurance Agency in Frankenmuth, Saginaw, and in Caro. Along with us, Gary Kaufman at Star of the West. Gary, I hope you had a nice weekend.
Well, yeah, 1.5 inches of rain in the gauge didn't create too much outside activity, but like you said, depending where you're at, you could probably get some things done. So.
I was really surprised. There were some folks that told me they didn't even get a tenth. And I thought for a minute, I said, okay, did you put a plate over your rain gauge or what? Because I had more than an inch in Richville. And some folks, an inch and a half, very common. But I'm reading a lot of these reports from the different ag-based locations, and 2/10, 3/10, maybe at the most. That's it.
Yeah. I know in the thumb area too, like in the tip of the thumb, I don't think they got a tenth or two up there, up that way. So, but yeah, it was pretty scattered for sure. And there were some pretty good downpours in areas as well. So
yeah, there sure was. Now let's kind of recap what we saw last week. Things were a little rocky, but now today you brought us some luck.
Yeah. Last week, Terry, for the week, wheat was down about 12 cents, corn was down 6, and of course, soybeans took the big dip last week. They were down about 50 cents, but after making some new contract lows for corn and beans on Friday, We got a little bit of a technical bounce here this morning for sure. So, they always say low prices cure low prices, and we've been seeing soybean demand kind of take a tip upwards in the last few weeks. And this morning we got another nice reported private export sale from the USDA. Probably about 442 million metric tons. So that was a nice jump, and that probably gave the beans a nice little push here this morning as well. So,
Any idea where it went?
well, they're saying China. Someone reported to China, but then, if you're only, some of it was unknown destinations, but the trade is guessing that's to China as well. So.
Yeah, and we haven't really heard a lot of that so far this year, have we?
No, it's for the what's on the books now is probably the lowest it's been in years. But if China continues to come to the plate, that would hopefully help some of these dismal prices, especially in the beans and corn as well. I mean, corn. I know the ethanol plants have been grinding pretty good across the country, so. Demand is needed to drive these markets because we know what's coming. Pro Farmers Tour started today, and I think they're going to find a record crop out there, especially in corn, and it looks like beans as well. As all the weather has been almost ideal for growing crops. So.
I noticed too here in Michigan, the Michigan Corn Growers Between the Rows Tour starts today. And goes through, I think it's like the 29th of August. So a lot of folks walking around in cornfields, and I don't know if we should be locking in some prices or what.
Yeah, it's it's hard to lock anything in at nothing's making money today for sure. So hopefully we get some demand and drive these prices up a little bit where we can stomach it a little better. So
I hear you. So what do you got on the board right now, Gary?
Yeah, right now let's call cash wheat unchanged at 5.15 on the white, 4.40 on the red. New crop for next year up a penny at 5.90 on the white, Terry, 5.05 on the red. Cash corn currently up 6 at 2.97. New crop up 6 as well at 3.34. Cash soybeans leading the way, up 15 at 9.52, and new crop up 15 as well, Terry, at 8.92.
Nice way to start the week. Let's keep it going.
We'll take it.
All right. Gary, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Over to Oppenheimer, we go with Doug Klein. The market report brought to you by Thumb Bank, making agricultural loans since 1895. They do help you stay up to date on industry trends and the trends of your operation. They've got locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust, an equal opportunity lender and member FDIC. Also, the market report brought to you by Legendary Tree Care. You need tree removal? How about just some plain and simple trimming? Well, Legendary Tree Care can do it. No job is too big. No job is too small. They are licensed and insured fully. They do specialize in big projects too. LegendaryTreeCare.com or like them on Facebook. Morning. How we doing?
Well, we're doing okay.
Okay.
The dollar's going down. It's just shade under 102. So that's the cheapest it's been in a while. So that's definitely helping, prices go up. What else is going on? Crude oil just kind of setting, not really up or down, about 75 or so. Precious metals all going up on a weaker dollar. Of course, the weaker dollar is based on the dovish Fed. And so they're still expecting at least one rate decrease in September. So we'll see how that plays out. So anyway, so here's your numbers. September corn is 375.5, up 5 cents. December corn 397.25, up 4 3/4. November soybeans 969.5, up 12.5. January soybeans 988, up 12. September wheat is 527.25, down 2 3/4, and December wheat 551.25, down 1 1/4. The crude oil 75.12, down 42 cents. Heating oil is 232.19, down 2.5 cents. Gasoline at $2.12.62, down 1.37 cents. Natural gas is $2.34. That's up 9 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar. U.S. dollar buys $1.3645 Canadian. That's down 31 ticks. The dollar buys 146.65 yen. That's down 93 ticks. The euro's at 110.63. That's the highest we've seen that in a while. That's up 35 ticks. And the dollar's at 101.98. That's down 49 ticks. Gold at 25.0640, up $2.80. Touched the old record, all-time high today, but didn't break it. Probably later on in the day they might do that. Silver's at 29.41, up 58 cents. Platinum's at 9.65, up $2.60. Copper's at 422.40. That's up 4.5 cents. That's made about 25-cent comeback in about a week.
Yeah.
That's making a move again.
It's
I
moving.
checked lithium. $73,500 a ton. That's down from $575,000 a ton 20 months ago. So if you're looking to put a battery pack in your garage when you buy that Tesla, now might be the time to
It
pick
might
up
be.
cheap lithium.
Good thinking.
There you go.
Doug, thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Michigan Truck Spring of Saginaw, your complete parts and service headquarters for light, medium, heavy-duty trucks and trailers, as well as buses and recreational vehicles. Quality parts and service at very competitive prices for well over 45 years. 800-358-4751 or buy online at truckspring.com. And don't forget, they're open weeknights till 11. Farm Service also brought to you today by the folks at Ed Raymond & Sons, quality clothing and shoes since 1919. Carhartt's, Red Wing shoes and boots, Stormy Cromer accessories, and more. Available today at 151 West Broad Street in Chesaning. Check them out at edraymond's.com. As we said, Between the Rows Tour, Michigan Corn Growers, that starts today, goes through the 29th. If you'd like the schedule of events and where they're going, why don't you go to micorn.org and check that out. Tomorrow, we're going to be out at the Saginaw Valley Research and Extension Center, their big field day. Folks will have a chance to take a look at some of the current issues impacting the dry beans and the sugar beets at the Saginaw Valley Research and Extension Center. They'll have the opportunity, growers will, to learn about weed and insect resistant issues, varietal advances and production practices in dry beans, soil fertility strategies, and pathology issues in sugar beets. Our broadcast tomorrow brought to you in part by the folks at ACH Seeds and BASF. Speaking of the sugar beets, over to Kevin Messing we go with Michigan Sugar Company. Kevin's report brought to you by the folks at Foster Blue Water Oil and Foster Blue Flame Propane. Kevin, good morning.
Morning, Terry. How are you?
Hey, we're doing real good. How's everything going?
Very well. We're here on our first day of harvest for the 2024 crop.
Hard to believe that we're talking on the 19th of August, but I got a funny feeling we really had to get something going here fairly soon.
Yeah, we do. And earlier reports we're seeing here in the East District seem like good yields. Don't have any concrete numbers, but good to above average yields for this time of year, I'd say, from what I'm hearing from a couple growers.
And the last time that I had a chance to ask, sugar content really wasn't all that bad for early dig.
No, it was one of our higher sugar samples on our early dig samples that we've seen in recent years. Rain recently might impact these first few days, but I think this growing season and the rains we've had, this crop has had a chance to utilize a lot of the nitrogen out there and accumulate some sugar with these sunny days we've had as well.
Just got a funny feeling, though. I think growers might have wanted to get possibly a little bit more water in the soil than what they did and what they are going to get, because it looks as though we're going to be in a fairly, not lengthy, but a fairly long dry spell.
Yeah, the dry spell is definitely going to use up a lot of that moisture in the ground. I'll say the rain we had this past weekend is made for pretty decent digging conditions. Some areas are too wet to actually dig this morning. I know over by the Caro area, they're struggling a bit to get going, but overall, I think it was a welcome rain because the ground would have been fairly hard had we not seen this one.
So at this stage of the game, what's your advice to growers, Kevin?
Well, we need to watch our pre-harvest intervals on any of our chemistry that we may still be applying. Got to keep this crop healthy that's going to permanent piles, so keep leaf spot at bay and stay safe at harvest.
All right. You take care. And oh, yes, congratulations to you and your wife on your new addition to the family.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're really welcome. Kevin Messing, field man over at Michigan Sugar Company. Coming up next, Matthew, who do we have?
Up next, we have Jerry Samolsky from the Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville.
Jerry, good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, Terry.
How much rain did you get in the gauge?
You know, I was hoping you'd ask. Well, at one point I had 3/10 of an inch, and then when I checked today, it was 2/10 of an inch. So how does it's called evaporation?
You got a thirsty squirrel out there somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's so that's one of the things I think that particularly with newly planted items, people don't really understand that we evaporate moisture too. So as much as we got on that was, by the way, from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we just didn't get a lot, but yet the pavement was damp for a long period of time. So people think, geez, it rained. And again, I just had a client's home. We planted some boxwood for them, and they were dry. And it's like, well, wait a minute, it rained all weekend, but we just didn't get a lot, and it didn't soak in. So again, paying attention and looking maybe with a moisture meter, or at least sticking your finger in and pulling back the mulch and seeing what the dirt is like underneath is really important. So, hearing out in Carroll, apparently they got a lot more than we did, but we just didn't get much.
No, not at all. Jerry, you take care. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Incidentally, our report with Kevin Messing brought to you by the folks at Foster Blue Water and Blue Flame Propane. Remember, maximum lubricity up to 8% improved fuel economy. Go with extreme diesel from Power Service. Available today at Foster Blue Water Oil. Just go online at fosteroil.com or blueflamepropaneinc.com or contact your local sales representative. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. They've got the products to help you increase your yields and to put new products for the new season in your field as well. Plus, certified crop advisor Vic Huffer will take care of any questions that you might have. Serving you is their business, and they've been doing it since 1983. They've got the full line of dairyland seed products available too at Freeland Bean and Grain. Jerry Reif, right now, our ag-based attorney. Jerry, you've got a meeting coming up tomorrow.
Yes, we do. At 2 o'clock tomorrow at the Cabaret Trail office for Capocco. We have room for a few more people. It's starting to fill up. And the purpose of the meeting is to find out if people are prepared and get them motivated, because the biggest problem with estate planning is the biggest obstacle is not the nursing home or the IRS or probate or any tax or whatever. It's procrastination. And, you always want to put it off till tomorrow, Well, that's not the way you do it. You want to get ready. Now, a lot of the questions we get, we'll probably cover again, and happy to do it, and bring your new questions to that workshop. But people want to know how to avoid long-term care costs. They want to know how to avoid probate, and if they should. They want to know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust and a living will. We'll explain all that.
So how do we reserve a table or a chair here, Jerry?
Well, we got one for you too, Terry. So, but it's to our law office here, 989-790-1461. Or you can always go to the website, Jerry Reif Lawyer. That's my name, lawyer.com.
Very good. Jerry, you take care, all righty? Good to talk to you.
You too. Take care.
You bet. Jerry Reif. We'll be right back. Farm Service has been brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors made easy at 800-234-3280 or go to steinertractor.com. We now conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coins in Bay City.